So today's question is on indices, and the question reads: without using mathematical tables, evaluate 243 to the power of 2 over 5 multiplied by 729 over 64 to the power of negative 1 over 6. So for such questions, the first thing that we always do is to write all the numbers involved in their simplest form, or in factor form. So we are going to start with 243. We break it down, and when we break it down, we start with 3 goes here 81 times. Then 3 into 81 is going to be 27 times, and then 3 into 27 is going to be 9 times, and then 3 into 3 3 into 9 will be 3 times, that way. So what this means is that 243 is the same as 3 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 to the power 5. And then the next number we go to is 729. So there we have 729. So when you break it down, 3 goes there 243, and then 2 goes there 81 times, and then 3 there 27, and then 3 into 27 9, and then 3 into 9 is 3 times. So when we write that in factor form, 729 is going to be the same as 3 to the power of 1, 2. So this one here was supposed to be a 3. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 to the power 6. And the last one is 64. 64, we also break it down. 2 goes here 32 times. And then 2 into 32 is 16 times. 2 into 16 is 8. 2 into 8 is 4. And 2 into 4 is 2 times. So that means this will be the same as 2 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. Now we can rewrite the question including the factor format and the powers. So in this particular case, the question is now going to read 243 is the same as 3 to the power 5. So we'll have 3 to the power of 5. This whole thing raised to power 2 over 5. 2 over 5. And then that we multiply by 729 is 3 to the power 6, so we'll have 3 to the power 6 as the numerator, and the denominator will be 64. 64 is 2 to the power 6, and then the whole thing is raised now to the power of negative 1 over 6. Now when we work out now this particular bit, we know that there's a law of indices that says when you have a to the power m and then the whole thing to the power of n, this is the same as a to the power mn. What this means is that we multiply those indices of those factors with the index on the outside. So 5 will multiply with 2 over 5. And if we do that, we're going to get 3 to the power 2. And then times. In this other case, 3 to the power 6 over 2 to the power 6, the whole thing raised to the power negative 1 over 6. We multiply them individually with that power to get the respective answer for the numerator and denominator. So 3 to the power 6 times negative 1 over 6 is going to be 3 to the power negative 1. Then over 2 to the power 6, that 6 times negative 1 over 6 is going to be 2 to the power negative 1. So eventually, we are going to have 3 to the power 2 multiplied by 3 to the power negative 1, the numerators together, and then the whole thing over 2 to the power negative 1. But then we also know another law of indices, which says when you multiply two numbers and they have the same base, what you do, you need to add the powers. It will be m plus n. So in this particular case, when I multiply 3 to the power 2 multiplied by 3 to the power negative 1, my is going to be 3 to the power of 2 plus negative 1, and then the whole thing over 2 to the power negative 1. So in this particular case now, when I take 2 plus negative 1 is the same as 2 minus 1, which is 1. So I'm going to get 3 to the power 1. divide by 2 to power negative 1. But from here, you also need to keep in mind that when I have a base a raised to power negative 1, the answer is the same as 1 over a. So from this particular case, you can conclude that if I have 3 to power 1, let me rewrite that. 3 power 1, I divide by 2 to power negative 1. This is going to be the same as 3 divided by a half. And remember, when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So this will be the same as 3 multiplied by 2 over 1. And my final answer is going to be 6. And that will be our answer. So in this particular case, when you are dealing with questions that have to do with indices, the first thing that we do is to write them in their simplest form possible before the laws of indices kick in. Once the laws of indices kick in, you need to know that there are three main laws. The first one is when you multiply two numbers the same base, the answer is the same as the addition of the indices. If you multiply and base with this index with another index, the two indices, you multiply them to be able to get the final answer. The final law is something we haven't used in this question, but when you have a to power m divided by a to power n, the answer is supposed to be a to the power of m minus n. That is when you divide two numbers with the same base, you minus the powers. But in this case, this particular law, we didn't use it. The other law that we used was if you have a to power negative 1 is the same as the reciprocal of that particular base, which will be 1 over a. Then from there you simplify, and after simplifying, get our answer as 6. So I hope this has been understood. We'll stop there for today. Thank you and see you tomorrow.